What I came up with here is, this was originally just called callback humor, but I want to teach you guys something I've been working on quite a bit. I call it trigger words. And I think this will really help you guys. Who here felt like last night they went out and they're like, fuck, some of those routines are pretty kick-ass, but it's hard to string along 30 of them. And you feel like you run out of shit to say. Do I feel like that? It sucks. Or you get really good at routines, then what happens? You're like, fuck, I gotta memorize 300 of these goddamn things. It sucks, right? So, what I think sucks about routines, the problem with routines is they're originally developed to be the salt and pepper of conversation and not the steak, right? Conversationalists, and then you add the routines, instead of being hand grenades, they're fucking nuclear bombs, right? But if you don't, if you use them as the main course, they're pretty weak. But when you start out, you're not good at holding court, not good at holding conversation long, so you're like, fuck that, I'll just come up with a routine stack, and I'll get 300 routines, and at least, I'll be okay. And I actually suggest you guys try that for a while, because it's still getting you in the firefight, you're still there talking to girls, and you can't cling to them that desperately, so it'll actually help progress along. But if you'll do what I'm about to teach you, man, it'll clean up your mind, and you'll see success a lot faster, and you can relax. The other problem is they're hard to remember. So what happens is you're like, there's a good routine for what she just said. What is it? You finally access it. You say it 3 seconds too late. It comes off weird. Anybody do that? Fuck, I do that still sometimes, right? So when you do that, she can feel that it's a little off. It's a little contrived. Boom, you lose it. So what I came up with was something like. Mr. Jim was watching me and he was like, what do? You fucking never say the same thing twice. Like, you have a million routines. How do you do that? How do you memorize? I was like, I don't memorize anything. I know where I'm at in the emotional progression model, and then I use trigger words. Okay, so that's what I'm going to teach you guys. And I'll try to finish the back half with callback humor, but I think this will be more potent. So trigger words, they're the happy medium of using routines and normal conversation. Because I agree that when they say naturals don't use routines, bullshit. My brother's the best I've ever seen, and he's never read anything. But when I hang out with him, he says the same shit over and over. He said, no, he doesn't. He doesn't know he's doing it, right? But then again, like, the better you get, if you go out with any of the instructors, you'll notice they have some canned routines they like to go to, but they're not, they've been in so many situations with girls, they're not just strictly following the same regimen, all right? Some of the reasons I think they're so powerful is most guys talk too fucking much. Or they don't, you're like, no, wait, I don't talk enough. I don't have anything to say. No, but guys that get decent, they talk too much. And what happens is the girl does none of the work, and then you just basically just entertain the whole time, and she's like, good show, see you later, right? She's over it. It's kind of like if you went and watched a stand-up comedian, if you didn't do any of the interaction, so you're not emotionally compelled. There's no compliance there. You didn't do anything. So when it's over, you're like, what's for dinner? So you want to get to where she's doing at least 50% of the work. All right. Normally, how you do that in qualification, I do it from the start. Let's see. All right, another thing these do, trigger words set a good precedence. I got this from my roommate Kevin. Precedence is this. Like, think of, if you start, I talked about this yesterday a little bit. What if you go on a date with a girl, and even if she really likes you, let's say you did nothing wrong, perfect attraction, but you take her to a $300 dinner, buy her a diamond ring, buy her flowers. What's the precedence you're setting for the rest of the relationship?
I'll buy everything.
Yeah, I'll buy you, let's just say let's say the girl never cheats on you and she looks up to you, but what is the precedence? What's the problem?
You reward good behavior.
Yeah, it's not only that, you're setting the fucking bar so high. What's the next level? I gotta take her on a fucking helicopter ride? Then what's after that? I gotta buy her the moon? I mean, just the precedence is set horribly bad, right? So what happens if you set a precedence of, wow, this guy says the most amazing shit every 2 seconds. He has the coolest games and routines and funniest shit to say all the time. What's the precedence you're setting? What is it?
Well, now you gotta be there.
You better be that guy all the time. So when your material runs out and you're like, so, what's going on tonight? She's like, oh. And she doesn't even know it happened. She just feels like it was like this, and then he's out of material, and it's just dead. Anybody feel like that? All right, cool. So we want to set a better precedence. Let's get her attracted without fucking having to do all that. Okay. So basically, here's what trigger words is. It's pretty basic. You all do it before, but I think now that you're focused on it, I want to hear your feedback for tomorrow. When I teach this on boot camp, guys usually hug me the next day. All right. So.